Hello and happy Thursday, everybody. I'm excited to be back here with you today to share another one of my new favorite recipes. I've been experimenting in the kitchen and I have come across a wonderful AIP approved banana muffin made with some amazing green banana flour. So, this is my first time using green banana flour and it worked wonderfully well. So, I've included the link for the recipe in this post. So you're able to go right over there to check that out. It is a recipe from one of my favorite food bloggers who focuses on autoimmune protocol recipes. And so far, all the recipes I've tried from her have turned out wonderfully well. So check out her blog for this recipe. The only thing that I would suggest doing differently is I would use the batter in 8 different muffin cups. I found that 6 was just a little bit too much and it just worked out better in 8 muffins. And I personally like to use parchment paper muffins, especially with paleo or AIP baking. Sometimes the batter can stick to a regular muffin liner, not all the time, but it's just really easy to use parchment. It comes off of the muffin perfectly, and it also doesn't allow your batter to stick to the muffin tins. I don't know about you guys, but I hate scrubbing muffin tins. So parchment paper muffin liners are where it's at. So I'm going to share with you guys some of the key ingredients in this recipe and why it is so beneficial for you. So of course, let's start with the green banana flour because that is one of the main ingredients in this recipe. So green banana flour is actually a resistant starch. Now, a lot of us do not get enough of this in our diet. Resistant starch is amazing for feeding the good bacteria in our guts. And so, this is one of the main reasons we want to eat this. And it also may help lower our blood sugar levels. Additionally, it also is going to help you feel more satiated because it is going to have a lot of healthy fiber in there as well. And another bonus to the green banana flour and other forms of resistant starch, such as tiger nut flour, which is also in this recipe that I talked about last week, is that it, like I said, it's going to feed those good bacteria in the gut. And this good bacteria helps protect our cells. So, a few of the other benefits of green banana flour, and these are from studies that have been done on the flour itself, and having either animals consume it or humans consume it, is that it may improve the negative effects of metabolic syndrome. It promotes a healthy colon. It could possibly reduce insulin sensitivity. So, if you are pre diabetic or diabetic, this is a good flour to have in your arsenal if you enjoy baking and you need to stay away from the highly refined wheat flours. It can possibly aid in weight loss, and it also may reduce cholesterol levels. So, let's talk a little bit about metabolic syndrome. So, for those of you who have not heard of this or aren't familiar, it's not so much a disease as it is a set of risk factors that involve the following: high blood pressure, high blood sugar, obesity, and high cholesterol levels. So the problem is that while we're having any of these factors is really risky, having them all combined worsens the situation and our health, and it possibly increases the risk of diabetes about 5 times. And these issues can cause heart disease and strokes too. So we really want to make sure that if this is something that's creeping into our lives, that we work really hard to reverse that. So the findings indicate that though there was no significant weight loss or change in body measurements of the subjects consuming the green banana flour, there were improvements in metabolic syndrome symptoms, including a reduction in their systolic blood pressure and fasting glucose. So those are really, really great. Now, when the bacteria eats the resistant starch, it produces a short chain fatty acid called butyrate. And butyrate is useful for the cells that line the colon because it keeps them healthy and even helps fight cancerous cells. So I know that you've probably heard Casey and myself talk a lot about leaky gut, and that is all taking place in the lining of our gut system. And we need to keep that healthy. So we want to plug those leaks and keep those cells healthy. And butyrate is one of those things. if we are producing that in our body, that is going to help keep those cells healthy. So great if you've got leaky gut going on. And let's look a little bit more into resistant starch. So, with the resistant starch characteristics that green banana flour can provide, it may also help reduce insulin sensitivity. So, that means if you are, like I said, if you're borderline diabetic or you have diabetes, this is a great food to help you keep your blood sugar in check and reduce your insulin sensitivity. So, in fact, a study out of the Louisiana State University system was conducted in mice showing that on a high fat diet, supplementation of butyrate, so that's what is produced when we consume the resistant starch. So this is formed by the fermentation of the green banana flour in the gut. It led to weight maintenance without reducing the amount of food intake. And the study concluded that through dietary supplementation of butyrate, it is possible that it can prevent and treat diet-induced insulin resistance. So while resistant starch helps keep blood sugar levels in check, it also may help with weight loss. It offers bulk, like fiber. So when eaten, you may feel fuller sooner since it promotes satiety. And I can attest to that. If I have one of these muffins with my breakfast, definitely feeling full. So, foods that are considered a source of resistant starch may help reduce cholesterol levels as well, which means green banana flour itself is a cholesterol lowering food. In fact, according to research published in the Journal of Nutrition out of the Netherlands, they conducted this on rats that were fed resistant starch, and the effects of resistant starch showed that total cholesterol and trialkylglycerol levels were lowered. Sorry, there's big sciencey words in there. So just can take those couple things into consideration. So resistant starch is a really good thing. It is also really high in potassium, and a higher intake of potassium in our diet may reduce the risk of diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, osteoporosis, kidney stones, and diabetes. So just to be aware of that. Now, another thing that I wanted to share with you that is one of the main ingredients in these muffins is gelatin. So, for those of you who are familiar with the autoimmune protocol diet, which is what we use in my program, we are eliminating eggs at least initially because they are a common allergen for a lot of people. And if you aren't allergic to eggs, and if you have an autoimmune condition or arthritis and inflammation in your body, it's one of the most common food sensitivities, especially when it comes to egg whites. Go figure. So in AIP baking, we replace eggs by using powdered gelatin. So not just any gelatin. So I don't want you to go and get like the stuff in the baking aisle at the grocery store that you use to make things like just homemade Jello. You want a really good quality pasture raised and grass fed bovine gelatin. There's different brands out there that make these products, and they are fantastic. So not only can you use them in baking, but you can also dissolve them in a hot drink. It is odorless, tasteless, colorless, and it will solidify and thicken things up as things cool. But if you want to add that to a hot beverage, you're going to get a lot of wonderful nutrition from that is really super gut healing, and it's going to help with that leaky gut, and it's going to help with your arthritis and autoimmune symptoms. So really wonderful food to have around. So gelatin itself is a type of protein that is derived from collagen. So I'm sure many of you in my community consume various versions of collagen like myself. And it is found in animal parts that provide us with important amino acids. So amino acids are just the smaller parts of what protein is. And it is made up about 98 to 99% protein by dry weight. So very high in protein. And it's also unusually high in amino acids, glycine, and proline. And most people don't actually consume enough gelatin nowadays because it's most prevalent in animal parts that we no longer consume, things like the skin, bone marrow, and tendons. So bone broth is where a lot of that comes in. A lot of, when we look back at traditional cooking methods, most people grew up with a grandmother that made soups and stews using the carcasses of the meat that we would have eaten earlier in that week. And so things like leftover, turkey soup using the turkey carcass. When we simmer those bones for several hours, we are getting that nutrition from those bones. So, bone broth itself is often used to clear up food allergies or intolerances, digestive issues, leaky gut syndrome, autoimmune conditions, and more. And it is a really rich source in naturally occurring gelatin. So, if soup making is something that you like to do, give yourself a favor and use the carcass from the bones of the animal, the meat that you had earlier that week. Or if you don't have a turkey carcass hanging out, lots of health food stores will have animal bones in their freezers that you can use to make bone broth. You can also purchase fully made bone broth as well from different companies. You're just going to be paying a more of a premium price for it, but it is worth it to get that nutrition. So if you can fit that into your diet, all the power to you. Now, a couple more benefits of gelatin include helping treat conditions that affect the GI tract, such as inflammatory bowels. And gelatin can also help protect our joints and our lower joint and lower our joint pain, improve our sleep quality, lift our mood, and improve cognitive abilities, support our skin elasticity, maintain heart function, skeletal strength, and help you feel full. So, sounds like a wonderful superfood as something that you would want to include in your diet. Like I said, it works great for autoimmune protocol baking and paleo baking. And especially if you have an egg allergy, this is a wonderful substitute that you can use in your baking. So, like I said, I've shared this recipe for you in this post. I hope you enjoy. I hope you give it a try. Muffins are a great thing to have, especially if you are eating a joint friendly diet. They freeze really well. They're great for a breakfast or a snack on the go. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. I look forward to talking to you again next Thursday with another recipe that I'm going to try. So, have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and we will see you then.